Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Chelsea and here we do all types of thrifting, DIYing, styling, all the home stuff. My cat's tail is already in the frame, so excuse that. I have had a lot of people recently say that, no, his butt's in the frame. I have heard so many people say lately that they are looking to move or getting ready to move. I have moved a few times at this point, so I thought maybe I'd make a video about tips for moving because I have definitely learned some things the hard way over time. So if I can give you guys some ideas to avoid some of the pain that I have felt, I think that would be really helpful. I'm going to try to go through these tips kind of rapid fire. Sometimes I get on a topic and I just want to give you so many ideas and I go on about it for too long. So I'm going to try to keep these short, sweet, to the point. I have my little cheat sheet here to keep me on track. So let's get into the video. So tip number one is to start early. Start everything early. Start going through your stuff early, start packing early, start cleaning early. You do not want to get to the week of moving and be strapped for time, running around, having to take unnecessary time off work because you procrastinated. Start doing everything early so that way you can avoid as much stress as possible. Moving can really be difficult and stressful, and you're always in a time crunch, so truly start weeks in advance, start a month in advance. If you are moving and you have a whole house full of stuff and kids stuff and things like that, start more than a month in advance. A little bit each day just makes the difference. That brings me into tip number two. The sooner you start going through your things, the more you can donate what you don't need, throw away or recycle things that are no good anymore, or you can sell some stuff. It's a good way to earn some extra money, which we're going to talk about next in tip number three. But go through your things because there is truly no reason to bring things along that you don't need or want. Go through your stuff in advance, donate, throw away / recycle, or sell them. Tip number three is to try to save at least a little bit of money before you move. Unexpected expenses can come up. You want to make sure that anyone who's willing to help you, you feed them, things like that, even if it's at least pizza or something. But also, nothing takes the wind out of your decor, styling, sales, like moving into a new place and not having any money to decorate it. And I have completely been there. I have spent every bit of money I had on the first apartment I had by myself. I spent so much money moving into it just because of security deposit, first month, all that stuff. At the end, no money left, couldn't decorate it. It really stunk. So even if you put a little bit away each week, again, even if it's a small amount, at least by the time you're ready to move, you will have a little bit of money saved. Tip number four is don't accept just anything. So oftentimes when people find out that you're moving, they have a tendency to want to offer you up their things. And most people do this with good intentions, but sometimes people can see it as a way to get rid of their junk. So if, Aunt Carol has a couch that's in good condition, you like it, of course accept it, but be leery when someone says, oh, it needs some TLC, oh, you just have to fix this, oh, you just have to fix that. Don't let your home become a dumping ground for people's junk that they just don't feel like dealing with. It is okay to politely decline items that you don't need or you just don't like. It's perfectly fine. Say thank you, but no thank you. Tip number five, and this is an important one, take measurements. Get measurements of your new space. Make sure you take measurements of any furniture or pieces that you want to bring, or look at the measurements of furniture that you may be ordering. There are so many times where I'll see reviews on pieces of furniture and it'll be a negative review saying, and it will say, this was so much bigger or smaller than it looked in the pictures. Why are you using the pictures to figure out how big a piece of furniture is? Read the measurements. Now, sometimes places lie or false advertise. I'm not talking about that. But to not even look at the measurements of something that you want to order for a new space is foolish. So really make sure you understand what is going to fit in your space. Sometimes things can't even make it through the door if they're way too big, so that's something you want to think about as well. But if you have a very small living room or a very small space in general, ordering a massive sectional might sound great for you and all your friends, but if you literally can't fit it in the room or can't find a way to place it that there's any space to walk, it's probably not the most practical piece of furniture for your new space. So make sure you take your measurements. Tip number 6 is to label your boxes. If you are looking for something, it's going to be a huge pain to have to open up a million boxes just to find one thing. Just label the outside of your boxes so you know what's in them. It can help you find things, but it also helps to direct which room your boxes should go in. So that way at the end, you will know that these certain boxes should be in your kitchen, certain boxes should be in your bedroom, living room, etc. It is just a quick way when you're packing to make life easier when it's time to unpack at your new place. And speaking of packing, tip number 7, pack a bin, a box, a bag, whatever of essential things that you will need for your first night. Moving is exhausting, and at the end of the day, you might not have time or you just might be too tired to unpack a bunch of stuff. Keep a bag of a change of clothes, pajamas, essentials, toothpaste, toothbrush, hair ties, whatever you need that first night, body wash, shower stuff, just stuff that you really need right away so that you don't have to forage through a bunch of boxes to find what you're looking for that you need immediately for that first 24 hours. Tip number 8 is to take photos of anything that is plugged in that you may have to rewire. So an example of this might be the back of your TV. Just take a photo of the cords so that way as you unplug everything, when you go to re-plug it back in at your new place, you can pull up the photo and reference it so that you know which cord goes in which space. This is especially helpful if you have a lot of things plugged into your TV. It can get confusing, lots of wires, lots of different outlets on the back of it. So having that photo handy can be really helpful when you go to replug everything back in. And that flows into tip number 9, which is to put pieces that go together in little plastic baggies and label them. Things come with so many parts and screws depending on what you're putting together, cords. So if you just make sure you put all of that into individual bags and label them, that way when it's time to reassemble, replug in, you just pull out the baggie that corresponds with your project and you know those pieces go with it. Tip number 10 is especially for you renters, and that is to take photos. There are whole forums dedicated online to people who feel like landlords are strictly out to get your security deposit back. So you want to make sure when you first get to your new space, you take photos. Any damage you may see, anything that's even questionable, take a photo of it because you want to make sure that they know that damage or whatever you see was not done by you. If you say nothing and then go to move out and they send you notice that that damage was done by you, you can pull up your picture and say, no, actually it was not. It was there when I got there. Also, don't wait until that time. Make sure you give them that evidence of the photos or whatever you found the day that you move in so that they know it was not from you and you have it documented that you did not do it. This also goes from when you're moving out of a space. Take photos of your cleaned apartment so that way you have evidence yourself that anything that mysteriously would happen after you move out was not your fault. Tip number 11 is to try to make sure you're using up your food in advance of your move. It is just not super convenient to have to move a lot of food, especially if it's stuff that needs to be refrigerated or frozen and you have a decent move on your hands. It's also a great way to just not waste food. So try to start really using up the stuff in your refrigerator and freezer. Non-perishables are obviously not that bad. Canned stuff, pastas, that stuff is not as bad to move. Although canned things can get heavy, it's just better to use up what you can so that you're not risking wasting food or having to move a whole bunch of food. It's just better to make a quick grocery trip after you move into your new place than try to lug a whole bunch of food to your new residence. Tip number 12 is to think ahead about your pets. Now, if you have someone that can just watch them for the day, that is great. It can be tough with people coming in and out, especially if your pets might get frightened easily. You don't want them bolting out the door and having to find them. You don't want them hiding somewhere and getting hurt when, they come out of somewhere unexpected, maybe under a piece of furniture. So just think ahead about what options you have for your pets. I know you may not have someone to care for them, you might not be able to afford to board them, but maybe that just means putting them in a room while the rest of your apartment is moved or your home is moved, and just make sure you put a little sign on the door and tell people that may be helping you, that you've got your furry friend inside the room and you just want to keep them there for safety. And my 13th and final tip is to also think ahead about how you're going to move potentially different items. Lots of places do not have elevators. Furniture can be difficult to maneuver. Not everything is friendly if it has to go down a stairwell or around corners or outdoors. So any furniture that you have that might be tricky, even something like a mattress, if you're by yourself, that might be difficult for you to move without dragging. So just think about that. It might be better for you to put your mattress on top of like a tarp where you can slide the tarp so you're not physically dragging the mattress material along the floor so that it doesn't get snagged or ripped. So just think about the pieces that you're going to have to move. Think about how heavy they are, the size of them, and how you're going to get them not only out of your old place but into your new place. All right, I lied. I have one more tip, which makes me think that I may have counted wrong because I thought that I had 13, but maybe I had 14. I'm not sure. My truly last and final tip is to evaluate what you really need in your space. Sometimes you can get sucked into thinking you need the traditional pieces, a dining room table, a full couch, things like that. But think about what you need and what you do in your space. If you're going to be eating by yourself most of the time and you don't truly need a full dining room table, don't buy one. There's islands that you can put chairs at, and they can also double as extra food preparation space. Maybe something like that is better for you. The name of the furniture game has changed so much when it comes to pieces that offer versatility. So do not get trapped into thinking you need standard pieces. Maybe you don't need a TV stand because you're able to mount your TV on the wall. That might be one less piece of furniture that you have to buy. Just think about the stuff that you need. Think about the things you do in your home that you like to do in your home, and focus on those types of pieces. Alright, you guys, that is it for today. This video was very casual. I just wanted to give some ideas on moving. I could have made this video an hour long. Nobody wants that. But I have so many tips that I've amassed for moving throughout my time of moving. So if this is something you enjoy, I can definitely make more videos on it. I can do videos that are maybe more specific for renters, moving a home, small spaces. But I have learned a lot, and I hope that some of these help you as well. Let me know if you have a moving tip. Leave it in the comments below. We like a helping community around here. I appreciate you guys watching. If you'd like to see more content about home, you can subscribe to my channel. Otherwise, I'll see you guys next time. Bye.